Welcome to Bankstown. We are here for the Australian National Netrunner Championship. I'm here with Alex Fordrin. How's it going?
It's going great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no worries. Alex is on the right playing Kate McCaffrey, and on the left we've got Joel Lee playing NBN with the yellow flash. Now, Alex, did you know what Joel's list was basically going into this game?
I just assumed that it was kind of just that one popular the Yellow Flash build that had popped up here and there. And a friend of his that I played in the last round the day before, who also made top 16, was playing what I thought would be a similar list. So yeah, I expected errand boys, draw cards, a lot of money, and
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, there was an old list going around that had kill cards in it, but yeah, I think the modern build is just card draw and get the agendas out the door as fast as you can. So that's what we're up against. And Kate, you've obviously got a pretty standard prepaid build. Can you tell us a bit about that?
yeah, nothing too exciting. I did decide to go with professional contacts. I know not everyone's too fond of it, but I expected to see a little bit more RP than I did in the end. And I think the professional contacts help a fair bit against RP, even if it makes you a bit weaker against fast advance.
Yeah,
And other than that, yeah, it's just Gordian Blade over Cyber Cypher, but to each their own.
yeah, I've played a very similar deck to yours, Alex, and yeah, I found the same thing. It was
46 cards similar.
Yep. And with the Procos, and yeah, it was great. But we've got Joel drawing up. He's got the Errand Boy, it looks like, and the NAPD. And the Corp drawer is, couldn't see what that went on to R&D, but just icing up.
Yeah, a bit
And
of early ice. Lack of early money for him, which isn't too good for him.
so you've got a Proco in your opening hand and a Diesel, which is nice. So you're pretty happy with that, and you kept it, I guess?
Yeah, that's it. You see that diesel in your opening hand, you're generally pretty happy.
So straight in and seeing the NAPD. What are you thinking?
But it's terrifying. I mean, I know what the list should be doing, and not having that sure gamble to play before running on something like that, it's a really, really tough choice. And I think I could see a lucky find in my hand as well. So it's a question of whether I take that gamble, and yeah, I guess I do.
Yeah, taking early NAPD is always tough when you know he can quickly gear check and try and rush another agenda now if you can't get some money back on the board. So um,
Especially before prepaids come down, it can be pretty intimidating.
so clicking back up for some money.
That's it. That's me forfeiting the pro con for the game effectively. I think.
Wow. So yeah, not holding another Proco, just going to go with the regular event-based econ.
Yeah.
So like we said, do you reckon this is a gear check for an agenda or?
Yeah, I mean, that's it. We're in elimination. I figure he might take a gamble, and you just get that vibe. You know, you're seeing NBN, you're expecting a wraparound. You might as well give it a shot. And I mean, if it's a code gate, then he'll probably sort of res a quandary or an enigma something for a few credits, which I could also live with.
So go for the lady first and then check. Seems reasonable.
Yeah, save myself that one click, and it might be run on click four. I can't remember either. But that way, if it is an enigma, I get punished slightly less.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So we called it was a gear check with a wraparound and straight up to
And at
four
that
points.
point,
So yeah, looking nice.
yeah, exactly. Just a huge relief knowing that there's just so much less pressure on me now, and fewer opportunities for him to mid-seasons me as well later in the game.
So from here, what's your game plan from this point? Just try and stabilize, or
Well, I think that's it. I think at this stage, because I've scored the two agendas, and Joel doesn't seem to be trying to force anything else at this stage, and that remote is effectively compromised for now, I can just sort of draw up, take my time, and try and find my pieces, whether it's SMCs, prepaids and more money and multi-access. But I also need to make sure that I don't sort of just make a mistake, run on something, have him find the pieces and money, and then mid-season and just beat me.
Exactly.
But he's giving me plenty of time, so.
So you got the legwork in there. When do you like to fire that off?
I mean, honestly, I prefer firing legworks off when I've seen a Jackson,
Yeah.
just because they occasionally have that turn where they go down to 3, 4 cards, play Jackson, draw up some more, and even though they might discard 1 or 2 agendas, they'll often keep one. So it's nice to just make sure and almost reset just the board by being sure that they're not keeping agendas in hand, and then you can focus on R&D.
Yeah. Okay.
But he's found a lot of money, so I need to take my time.
So you do go for the Proco. Yeah.
Well, better late than never. But that's it. Once the Procon is up, especially on turns when pressure isn't being put on you, you can spend a good 2, 3 clicks just sort of setting up, and you're just getting richer as you do so.
Yeah, for sure. So you can just draw as heavy as you want now, and it doesn't really set you back at all. So this is the Jackson you're talking about. So
that's it. Yeah, exactly.
He's drawn into his mid-seasons, but it looks like he may end up going down some tags based on his econ, but we'll see.
Yeah, he does have a lot of money there. It's not quite super easy to tell. I know I was struggling on the day. I might be even asking how much he has there. Yeah. And I mean, especially in the lead up to nationals, practicing against things like Butcher Shop, keeping sort of a keen awareness of the money differential is something that people should be doing anyway.
Some money.
And Cade can afford to take its time, so especially if you steal a couple of early agendas.
Yeah, and you'd have to feel pretty comfy with that SMC sitting there for you.
Yeah, exactly.
I think as soon as you got that clot pressure, it's significantly easier.
Yeah, exactly. Especially in a deck where I expect to see the mid-season psychographics combination rather than any kind of butcher shop stuff. But even then, I'm still holding the Plascrete in case I later feel like putting it down, just in case. But he keeps protecting R&D, so it doesn't seem as though he's trying to put too much pressure on me, which gives me that advantage.
So I guess Joel's just hoping he can get you to make an expensive and fruitless run, and then get enough tags on you with a mid-seasons. But so you're not falling for it at this point. You're just happy to sit back and wait for Joel to blink first.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Well, that's it. And I do like that about Netrunner. You get those situations quite often, and especially with things like mid-seasons and Butcher Shop, and even Wayland decks that aren't as popular now, but then there were some scary Argus ones at this event. You always need to be cautious, and everything's always a little bit closer to the knife edge than you might even be aware of until you get mid-seasons.
So it looks like... Can't quite see if Joel's got some agendas. But discarding...
But that's it, especially as the game goes on. You just have to be under the assumption that agendas will eventually get into his hand. And since the NBN ID only has, I think it's a 40 card ID, but a 40 card minimum.
Yeah, I think he runs 44, yeah. So you can run up to 18 agenda points. So yeah, he can run 44 cards. It's a little bit tighter, a little bit higher density, yeah.
Yeah. So especially as the game goes on, you just expect them to be piling up in R&D. In R&D, in HQ, sorry. And I'm not sure if he's not drawing his pieces, his combo pieces, or if he's really just waiting for me at the stage. But it just gives me that time to keep building up money, keep developing my board, and keep drawing deeper into my deck for all the multi-axis pieces to try and sort of just score out the game in one turn if possible.
Well, that's the thing. A lot of runners will just get bored and start hitting centrals, and you're not one of these guys. You've got your game plan, and you just stick into your guns, and well, it's worked for you. You've made it this far.
Yeah, I mean, Kate certainly does pretty well at that. I mean, there are certainly a few decks where you can't afford to just sit back, especially the fast advanced decks who were quite scary over the weekend, the ones that I faced. But yeah, fortunately, I didn't have to play against them too often. Did you have to play much fast advanced or not really?
Only one, and I got super lucky. Yeah, I got my clot on the board really quick, and it was the centrals just coughed up agendas straight away. So yeah, I didn't have too much trouble with it that day. The trouble I had was with noise, but didn't expect so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, another lucky find for you there. So you're gonna go up a lot of
Plus, I was
credits.
enjoying my breakers as well.
You may even be ahead on money now.
Yeah, it's close. I mean, again, hard to tell, but I am certainly getting closer to being ahead. And once I will feel like I'm ahead, then I might become a bit more aggressive. He plays another blue level every time you see the Warlords Girls playing another blue level. You just know he's going to draw probably another agenda. So if they're not going anywhere, then I'll find them.
Yeah, well, that's it. The density of R&D after Jackson's gets shuffled, it's just going to become incredibly juicy.
Yeah, and that's just that critical moment that I'm waiting for. And then double icing archives. I mean, if that's not intriguing, then I don't know what is.
That is interesting. Yeah, you don't see that much in NBN. I was thinking in RP sometimes you get a crick and something else, but yeah, interesting.
Here we see one of the few downsides of playing Procon. You'll just draw so much more for so much longer that you'll often have to play out your breakers from hand. It's just cheaper overall, but kind of can slow down the game as well if you don't draw them early and then draw them when you have the SMCs already on the table.
So heading into check, you got a quandary and a wraparound.
More wraparounds. The poor lady getting a workout.
And so he's discarded 2 mid-seasons. So it's pretty clear to have 1 in hand, I guess, or...
I hope so. I mean, he has so much money left. I would think that he's still on the mid-seasons plan because I don't think the Yellow Flash really has a plan B. This is one of the reasons that it never feels quite so threatening. Whereas when you see things like Fastrobiotics or even Butcher Shop, they always have just a way to get out of the game, even if they don't kill you or just sort of destroyed all their fast advanced pieces, such as Biotics. More and more money, though.
So it's still sticking to the money standoff.
Yeah. It is definitely building up.
Be nice if we could see if he's holding some agendas yet. Some players hold their cards really close and some are very protective. I think with yours it's much easier to see throughout this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure that's a good thing. I know I've been told before that people can see some of the cards in my hand, and especially when I'm a runner, I generally don't mind too much. It's okay. But yeah, it's a good habit to keep them close. Not practical when playing on camera, but that's alright.
So
And I definitely don't want him drawing more cards. when I'm running through to the legwork check. So that errand boy needs to be broken.
So that's pretty much the full rig and just a quandary. So let's see what we get. They're up to 6. There's
That
cool.
confirms that mid-seasons.
And psychographics. So it's
So
game,
it's
it's game on now. What
Yep.
can Joel do? Or can you find this last agenda? So now, do you have an idea about if his credits are higher than yours, or?
I think, no, honestly, I thought they were relatively similar. And had I been under the impression that they weren't, or had I known that he wasn't actually um, on lower credits than me, then I
So,
probably would have played money cards instead of the same old thing. So this was quite scary to see.
so Joel's just figuring out the maths on this mid-seasons.
So tell me how much it is, please.
That's 15, 6, 21.
And yeah, with those tokens, I mean, I'm all for tokens, but some of them
It sounds like a
can be a
Trace
little bit.
26, I think.
26.
Yeah,
Actually, you too.
So he will be able to get some tags, but he will go broke, I think, by the look of it.
that's it. In that situation, it's always the question of whether I want to simply put all my money into it, hope to get back out of it with some pro-con draws and prepaids and money cards, and then remove the rest of the tags, or just take advantage of that low money to make as many multi-axis runs as possible to try and win before he gets there.
Yeah, so you got a few options, and he's got to get the money high enough to be able to psychographics the Beal, and that'll take a bit of time. So you've got
And plus,
to,
he'll have to deal with the potential clot that I can still go and get.
yeah, yeah, of course, with the 2 clone chips and the 2 memory, that's always going to be on the table as a threat. So you've got to feel pretty confident, I guess.
But here comes the window for multi-axis, I guess. We'll make his eye with an R&D interface.
And that R&D looks pretty slim at the moment. Not many cards left, so you'll see 4, 3. Yep, there it is. Okay, so stuck to the game plan and got the result. And you'll move on to the second round. Joel will move into the lower bracket.